CSU Information Night. My name is Andy Prisco. I'm a counselor at the high school. Thank you all for being here for our Zoom meeting. We hope that this meeting is going to be very informative for you, and we hope that we're going to answer all of your questions. Before I introduce our two awesome presenters, I just want to go over a few things, a few announcements with you. So we're going to go ahead and jump to that. Okay, so this presentation will be recorded and we will post it on our school website. We did want to mention that the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid, this year is going to open in December. The FAFSA people are retooling their application. Normally, they would have opened it in August or in October, as in past years, but they're working on revising it. And what they tell us is that it will be available sometime in December. They haven't given us a specific date yet. You will hear more about that through our Aries communicator and also through text messages. And I'm sure your seniors will be bringing home information. Your seniors will be creating their, what they call the FSA ID for the FAFSA in their economics and their US government classes this semester and also early next semester. And as in past years, my understanding is that the deadline to submit the FAFSA is still March 2nd. Very important that any student who's applying to a university or a community college or a trade school, that they complete a FAFSA. And parents will need, you will need your 2023 tax information to complete the FAFSA. This year, with the new version, there's actually going to be two separate applications, one for students and one for parents. And the number of questions has been significantly reduced. I think it's down to 36, which is fantastic. We wanted to let you know that our counselors have already met with most of our seniors during Hay Baylor support time this year to get an idea from them about whether or not they want to apply to university or community college or join the military or trade school or an apprenticeship program. When I say most seniors, we do have to keep in mind that sometimes our students are absent from our HSTs, so we will try to follow up with those students as we can. The other announcement is that counselors will be available to meet with eligible seniors in the Career Center during the school day in the months of October and November to help them with university applications, whether it be CSU, UC, or Common App or private out-of-state colleges. Okay, a couple other things that are really important that are coming up. We have our college fair coming up on Thursday, October 26th from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. That'll be in the Matson Gym. If you have questions about that, you can contact Mary Andrade. She is our Career Center specialist. Her phone extension is there. Mary is also with us tonight, so she can unmute and jump in anytime there's a question pertaining to that. We are going to have a senior parent financial aid information night sometime in January. We have not determined specifically what date or format that's going to be in, but again, we will send that information out to you prior to that. We're also going to have at least one Cash for College event, and that's an event where folks from Gavilan College actually come on our campus and help parents and seniors complete and submit their FAFSA. And we usually have two of those, and we're hoping to have two of those, perhaps one in January and one in February. And again, we will be announcing that. Regarding local scholarships, I'm sure many of you know that our community gives away hundreds of thousands of dollars to our seniors that are chosen for scholarships. Last year, I think we exceeded, the community gave away more money than ever before. Mrs. Andrade is our guru. She's our specialist when it comes to scholarships, especially the local ones. And the local scholarships are released on our website in January. And the deadline for that is a few months later in March, and some are due in April. But again, if you have questions about local scholarships, you can certainly visit the Career Center, send your seniors into the Career Center, or you can phone or email Mrs. Andrade. Okay, so regarding tonight's presentation, we would ask you to please type your questions in the chat feature, and we will answer them at the end of each presentation. Or you can unmute yourself and ask questions following each presentation. We're going to have 2 presentations tonight. Each one is going to be about 20 to 30 minutes long. We also have Mrs. Lorena Fernandez. She's my colleague, a counselor at Hollister High School, actually our lead counselor, and she's going to be monitoring the chat feature for any Spanish speakers out there who would like to ask a question by using the chat feature. Lorena, I don't know if you want to maybe unmute yourself and say that in Spanish.
Buenas tardes. Esta presentación será en inglés, pero si ustedes tienen alguna pregunta que prefieren escribirlo en español, me lo pueden mandar en el chat y yo voy a ser intérprete para la noche para poder ayudarles a contestar las preguntas en el chat y también preguntarle a las presentadoras. Gracias por venir.
Okay, so tonight we are very lucky to have 2 professionals, one from the UC system and one from the CSU system with us tonight. Both are college admissions evaluators. We have Claudine Naknak from UC Santa Cruz. She's with us. Go Banana Slugs. And then we have Azucena Ramos. She's an admission counselor with CSU Monterey Bay. Go Otters. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start with UC Santa Cruz and Claudine, and I'm going to stop sharing and allow her to go ahead and share her presentation.
Okay.
We'll go from there.
Yeah, thank you, Andrew. Let me see here. Can everyone see that? So, okay. So just before I begin, I'd like to ask everyone if they can just scan the QR code and register. This is a way for our office to see how many students attend my sessions, but also it's incentive for us to keep coming back to Hollister High. So I'll just give you a moment to do that. Okay. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Thank you for inviting me to speak today. My name is Claudine, and I'm from the Office of Admissions at UC Santa Cruz. Now, just a little bit about this picture. This is one of our more local spots in Santa Cruz. This is at Westcliff, and this is a beach where a lot of our beginner and intermediate surfers catch waves. This is also an excellent place to catch the sunset. And a little bit about me. My title at the admissions office is Senior Admissions Evaluator. So what that means is about 3 months of the year, I read freshman applications. I'm not saying that I'm reading yours specifically, but I am one of many who do. So if you have questions about the UC application, put them in the chat. And I've been with the office for about 6 years, but this is my first time on the road. So I'm excited to meet students virtually and also in person. Here at UC Santa Cruz, we are really big on campus community. So these are our values: diversity, open, purposeful, just, celebrate. So all these words in yellow. And when I say we, I mean us as in staff, faculty, but also students. And quite often when we ask students, what do you like most about our campus? They say that they like how collaborative it is and how it's not competitive. You know, we're a very laid back campus, so it's a really great environment for new students and people are generally kind and willing to help you if you're looking for certain resources. So if you feel like you embody those values as well, then UC Santa Cruz may be the place for you. Now, if you've been to our campus, you know that our campus is really, really large. This picture is just one part of it. Those buildings you see are dorms. And so essentially our campus is a redwood forest on the hill that overlooks Monterey Bay on the California coast. Just a bit more about our campus. So we've got 2,000 acres. Heck, even 1 acre is huge, right? And we've got about 20,000 students. 18,000 of those students are first-time degree seeking, so they're in school to do their bachelor's degrees. And the remaining 2,000 are graduate students. And I want to say about half of our students live on campus. And if you didn't know, we are the closest UC to Silicon Valley. This is very advantageous for our students because, you know, Silicon Valley houses the big brands. You've got Facebook, Google, Instagram, Netflix. Throughout the school year, students are able to gain internships from the Silicon Valley area, so paid and unpaid, and also after graduation, which we provide through networking events throughout the school year. Just taking a step back, UC Santa Cruz is one of 9 UC campuses. And if you didn't know, we are also the most applied to college system in the world. So we are pretty popular with applicants and we receive thousands of applications every year. We also have amazing faculty, 64 Nobel laureates, 38 Pulitzer Prizes, and they all share their knowledge with us students and staff and other faculty members. So we're also known for our research opportunities. In fact, specifically on the UC Santa Cruz campus, 75% of our students are involved in some kind of research. Research is important because, you know, you get involved with helping out with your professor's projects. You have the ability to get published online or on the books. It's a great resume builder. And, you know, I know grad school is years down the line from here now, but grad schools love to see that you've done research when you do fill out their application. If you're interested to see what research opportunities we offer, you can scan the QR code on the top right there or visit the link. And I'm often asked too, like, how big are the courses or how big the classes? We're about 23-to-1 student to faculty ratio. So even if you're in a really, really huge class with maybe 1,000 people, those classes are always broken down to smaller groups. And they are led by TAs, other professors, or graduate students. And this is just a picture of an elephant seal. These can be found up if you drive up Highway 1. And if you visit Año Nuevo State Park, they do seasonal tours there where you can see these elephant seals, which are led by rangers, tours led by rangers. And this next clip is just a little bit about undergraduate research specifically at UC Santa Cruz.
I think what is special about being an undergraduate at UCSC is the opportunity to get involved in research from day one.
That undergrads are one of these the secret resource for researchers.
This statement applies to art, social sciences, engineering, humanities, physical biological sciences.
I'm working now on a project called Visualizing Abolition, and undergraduates are actually involved in a variety of ways in that project. Undergraduates are doing some of the work in preparation. They're also attending all of our events. And a lot of this is also translating into the classroom. So there's a lot of involvement there with students. At UCSC, ecology and evolutionary biology has an uncommon number of opportunities to do research, especially to do field-based research, capitalizing on the fact that so many of our faculty have research projects in the ecosystems around here, whether it's out on Novo Island with the elephant seals, or up at the Arboretum working with songbirds, or up the coast looking at recovery from fires.
You're looking for this intersection between like what you're good at, what you're uniquely good at, and like what the world needs. And you know, so sometimes it's a small intersection. So going to labs helps you figure out like, okay, I have talents, but like how do my talents and abilities and interests intersect with like the scientific work that actually needs to get done?
I hope everyone enjoyed that video. If you haven't started your UC application, I urge you to do it soon. But yeah, you do have time, and the application isn't due until November 30th, but more information on that later on. Our campus has about 72 majors. These are just some of the popular ones here on the left. Computer science, psychology, and business. These are our top 3 most popular majors. Specifically for the UC Santa Cruz campus, if you are interested in computer science, you have to list that down on your application. And the reason being is that computer science is our most and only impacted major here. So let's say, for example, if you were admitted and you didn't list it as you didn't list your major of choice as computer science, and you change your mind, you want to change your mind later on, you will not be able to change your mind because we have so many applicants who apply for that major and not enough space. Okay, and this year we've got a few new majors. We've got global and community health, which is great for someone who's looking into getting into the medical field and doing work at the administrative level, math theory and computation, and creative technologies. The residential colleges is one unique thing about UCSC. So every student who is admitted to our campus is admitted into one of these colleges. So because our campus is so large, it's 2,000 acres, these colleges serve as neighborhoods. So essentially these colleges are dorms. That's where you eat, sleep, hang out with friends, study. It's also where you are assigned a college advisor who will help you pick out your courses and make sure you're on track to graduate. I do want to say that these colleges have no ties to any major at all, even though they do have a theme. But really, these colleges are where you want to live physically on campus. And even if you don't live on campus, all 4 years, you are still affiliated with one of these colleges. A little bit about our student life here. We have over 200 clubs and organizations that you can get involved with. We've got sports, clubs, cultural and identity groups, and resource centers, and you can explore the outdoors in the city of Santa Cruz. For sports, we are NCAA Division III in swimming, tennis, volleyball. Those are just some of them. For clubs, we've got surfing, sailing, fencing, ballroom dancing. Those are just some of them. We have so many. And then we've got, the Cantu Queer Resource Center and also the Women's Center for students. We've got resource centers also for Asian Pacific Islander students, American Indian, as well as African Americans. And then, as you know, the city of Santa Cruz is known for their outdoors, so you can go surfing, sailing, hiking. We are also the Mecca for mountain biking. And a little bit about this bookshop here. This is one of my favorite stores downtown. And this store has been here forever, but sidebar, I met Marie Kondo, and she signed my book here many years ago before she got really big. Down to the nitty-gritty of freshman admission requirements. So frosh admission requirements comes down to two things: subject areas and GPA. I would say for the subject areas, if there is an area that has a number of recommended years, say for example, the science subject area, it's 3 years that are recommended. If you have space and you're not, you haven't been infected by senioritis, if you have space on your schedule, I would take the number of recommended years. It will help you stand out as an applicant. And then for GPA, you will need at least a 3.0 GPA to be admitted to UC. And having said that, specifically for our campus, last year, the average GPA for an incoming freshman was 4.02. Now, I'm not saying that to deter you, but I'm saying that's the average. And it doesn't mean that if you have a 3.5 that we won't admit you, but that was the average GPA for a student who was admitted. That's a question we get a lot. Yeah, so this slide is more so how an evaluator would read your UC application. So beyond your grades and GPA, we also consider 13 factors, your PIQs, and your activities and awards as part of reading your application holistically. You can look up what the 13 factors are on our UC website, but the one thing that comes to mind is, are you a top student at your school? That would be a factor that we consider. For PIQs, personal insight questions, so just some tips on these. This is not an essay. I know it's a little challenging because in English class, in high school, we're taught to write in the flowery language, right? For the PIQs, because there is a word limit, it's 350 words. I would say avoid quotes, poetry, and when you're telling your story, make sure that you get right to the point. Be succinct, okay? And make sure that the story you tell is yours and not someone else's. And then activities and awards, you want to list everything that you're involved with here. So whether you are a treasurer, a president of 5 clubs, you're taking care of your siblings after school, maybe you created a Zoom group to check in on your friends during the pandemic. List that all here, okay? Because yes, we do look at grades and GPA, but we also want to know who you are as an applicant beyond those facts, beyond those figures. And then the main takeaway from here is, how are you going to add value to our campus community? UCSC is really big on campus community. So if you can address that in your PIQs, that would be great. As you know, the application is open now. If you haven't started, I would urge you to start soon. And the application can be submitted anytime in October and November, but please do not be one of those people who submit it late. We do get students who message or call us and tell us that they tried submitting their application on November 30th at 11:59 p.m. and their power goes out, so they weren't able to submit their application. So I would avoid that and say, just submit it before Thanksgiving so you don't miss the deadline. And then February to March is when we notify students that, if you're admitted or not. And if you're admitted and you want to commit to our campus, you have May 1st to do so. So how much does it cost to attend UC Santa Cruz? And I just want to say and really emphasize on these are estimated numbers. I know the number may look scary, but these are estimated numbers even before any grants or loans or anything with FAFSA or financial aid is applied. So for one school year, it would cost for a California resident $41K to attend UC Santa Cruz. So let's break down this number. So if your household income is $80,000 or less, you qualify for what we call a blue and gold opportunity plan. So what that means is tuition and fees, where it's $15K, your tuition and fees, $0. So take that away from $41K. And then if you're staying in a dorm on campus, that's standard rate. Books and supplies, again, estimated costs. Maybe you'll rent books, maybe you'll borrow books from friends. Transportation, again, estimated costs. You're probably not going to be driving a lot around much, right? Personal expenses, I don't foresee you going to a concert every weekend, right? So again, estimated costs. Campus health insurance. If you have a comparable health insurance, then this is zero. Okay, so that's why I say the $41,000 for a student, California resident, is a very rough estimate. Having said that, 70% of our students are on some kind of financial aid. It's a really high number. It's a good number as well. And this is a reminder that after you submit your UC application, you should start working on your California Dream Act application and also your FAFSA or your FAFSA, okay? And that is due March 2nd. It's very important. You want to make sure that you mark that on your calendar because that will make you be, preliminary considered for any of the awards on campus that we offer, as well as other grants and scholarships that you may be eligible for. Here are just some ways to save time and money in college. So depending on your major, some majors can be done in 3 years, but generally that would entail you taking college courses now and also during the summer, which we also offer. We also have student jobs on campus. As a matter of fact, in the admissions office, we've got about 5 students who help us with scanning and with our paperwork. And then we've got scholarships. And then this last bit here, you can also apply as a transfer student. Now, I know there are some people out there who may not be or may not feel like they're ready to leave home at 18 or 17, and that's fine. I would encourage you to enroll at one of our California community colleges. All of the UCs have partnerships with these community colleges. So as long as a course that you take at a community college says UC transferable, that class will transfer to a UC or any of the UC campuses. If you have more questions on that, let me know. I did this route myself many years ago when I was a student, and transfer pathway for a UC and CSU are similar. But I do want to say, applying as a transfer student, the requirements are slightly different. And we've come to the end of my presentation, but let's keep the conversation going. I mean, the application isn't due until November 30th, so feel free to email me any of your questions. I'm Claudine at ucsc.edu, and yes, I'm the only Claudine at UC Santa Cruz. And feel free to check out our admissions website and follow us on social media. We are very active on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And if you haven't registered using my QR code yet, please do so. This lets my boss know how many students attend my sessions and presentations, and it's also incentive for us to come back next year. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Claudine. I know that you'll be standing by to answer questions after Azucena has finished her presentation. If you could stop sharing your presentation so that she can share hers. Thank you. Awesome.
Let me go ahead and do that now.
I can see it.
Perfect. Perfect. I hope everyone is doing well this evening. Thank you guys all for being here. Again, my name is Azucena Ramos. I'm an admissions counselor with Cal State Monterey Bay. I'm so happy to be presenting to Hollister High. So let's go ahead and get started. So we're first going to talk a little bit about the history, locations, statistics, and just campus life, and just really get into it because we have a lot of information ahead of us. So the history. So our campus is not only just known for the location of being 1 mile from the beach, but we are also built on an old Fort Ord military base, which is beautiful, and we still have a lot of historic buildings on our campus that you can see as well. The location of Monterey Bay, we're located in the central coast of California, just 2 hours away from San Francisco. It's close to very pristine beaches, the redwood forests, tide pools, and the Fort Ord National Monument. And you'll see on that map there kind of where our campus is located, in the middle of San Jose, in the middle of Big Sur, and close to you as well. So to statistics, 73% of our students receive some sort of financial aid. So if that's something that you all, were worried about, anything like that, 73% of our students do receive some sort of financial aid assistance. So it makes it very more affordable. Our university is a institution. About 45% of our student population are Hispanic or Latino. 51% of our students are also first generation as well. And we definitely know we provide a lot of support programs that I'll talk about later for our students as well. So a little bit about campus life. We have over 7,000 students and we on our campus. Again, we're only 1 mile from the beautiful Monterey Bay. We have a huge and not so big, we have a smaller student population, but it's a very diverse student body. And that makes it more advantageous for our classes and for our class sizes as well. Again, we have about 7,000 students in our student population and definitely growing. And again, I wanted to point out the 27 to 1 student to professor or student to faculty ratio, making for more intimate and smaller class sizes. It gives you that opportunity to be able to really get to know your peers and your professor as well, and take as much as you can out of the learning opportunities. So how can I get involved on campus? So we have several clubs. Goodness, give me 1 second. Yeah, we have several clubs. So we have sports clubs, multicultural Greek council, and we have inter-club council. You're able to start a club, meet your peers as well when you're involved in these clubs or organizations, share interests with other people on campus, and really build that sense of community on campus, and just really being involved and be integrated into our campus, and with other just things that are going on our campus as well. We have 13 men's and women athletic sports. We are Division II in the NCAA. So we have, our basketball, cross country, golf, soccer, softball, track and field, and volleyball, and water polo for our women. And men's, we have our baseball, basketball, cross country, golf, and soccer. And we also do have a professional football team as well, football meaning as in soccer too. So that is awesome. You guys will have to come check out our campus and see the new field as well for that. So recreation. So to get y'all moving, we have the intramural sports. We have Otter Cycle Center, where you can also check out rent bikes as well, or even get your bike fixed as well, because we acknowledge that a lot of students bike around campus because of all the bike trails around the Monterey Bay. We have our outdoor recreation center, and again, the sports clubs that you can be involved with as well. So student government, we have, it's called our Associated Students. Associated Students I feel like it's great. It's kind of like the club or the group of students that, you know, put on all of the events around campus. They plan all these fun events for our campus community, and they're the ones that, you know, do everything to get students involved. And, you know, I want to point out that it's a great resume builder when you're involved in something like associate students. You do have the associate student body. They get a $1 million annual budget to put on all these fun events. So anything like you see, our game nights, we have a lot of bingo nights in our new student union, or movies on the lawn, or ice cream socials, anything like that are put on our body. So yeah, that would be great for you guys to apply or get involved in that. We have a great study abroad program as well, with a lot of partnerships and international universities. Here's a few of our alumni that have also went out to just different countries, and you know, had that experience in the study abroad program. So what majors are offered at CSUMB? CSUMB offers 26 majors across 6 different colleges. So here's a list of our Bachelors of Arts. So that's the BA. Here, I want to point out that at the bottom we put undeclared, because it is important to acknowledge that it's okay that if you don't know exactly what you want to do coming in, you have a little bit of time. But if you do, here's a big list of them. If you guys give you guys a second to look at them. Within them, they are also different concentrations as well. So let's say the collaborative health and human services, one that I'm just kind of pulling out. There's a public policy, a public administration, and a social work concentration. So you just kind of pick according to what your interests are, and your classes are geared towards that specific concentration in that major. Moving on to the Bachelor's of Science, here is, I wanted to point out, we have a new major. It's the mechatronics engineering. That's more like in robotics engineering. That is new. That's going to be ready by the time you guys are ready to come to CSUMB, which is really awesome. Our nursing program, I also wanted to point something out there, is that we only division transfers for a nursing program. So you would have to get your associate's degree in nursing and then come into our BSN program, and then or get your RN license and come in to our BSN program that way. That's something very different about our university. So you wouldn't be able to do undergraduate and come into nursing that way. I definitely wanted to be very transparent about that if anybody was looking into nursing. Yes. So let's keep going. What are the requirements to enter as a freshman? So I know that you guys have great counselors out here that are, you know, making sure that you're graduating and meeting all your A through G requirements. So here's a list of all your A through G requirements. You guys can take a picture, snap a shot, and just make sure that you guys are on track to not only graduating, but meeting your A through G requirements as well. So you guys can come into a university or continue your education. So here's the A through G years. So that's going to be a little bit your 2 years of history, 4 years of all 4 years of English, 3 years, but I would say 4 years recommended, and having completed Algebra 2. 2 years of laboratory science. So that's one biological and one physical. And then your foreign language, 2 years of the same language. Your visual and performing arts, 1 year, and your college preparatory electives, that's 1 year. Some important notes. I wanted to point out that the grade point average that is calculated from your A through G courses is your grades 10 through 12. I also wanted to point out that grades, if you have any D's or F's, those will need to be made up. I just want to point that out. It may have a lot to do with, you know, us maybe not admitting a certain student with a D or F. So I definitely, you guys have time, make it up in your last semester. If you have any of the grades, lower grades. CSUMB is not taking SAT or ACT scores to determine admissions to our university. And I also wanted to point that out because that's something a little newer. And I know it wasn't that way when I applied to college. So multi-factor for admissions criteria. So I did want to point out a little bit about the GPA. So GPA, a 2.5 and above, we really just look at your A through G prep work. So making sure you have hit all those A through Gs. If you have a 2.0, which is okay, or 2.0 to a 2.499, we accept all 2.0s and above, but we look more into more criteria like are you local, are you a first generation student, are you low income, did you take extra of the A through G courses, and then for non-California residents we do look for, the above a 3.0 or above and the A through Gs as well. So it's just a little bit different factors come into play with different GPAs. Yeah. So what are the requirements to transfer? So coming into CSUMB right away is not something that you want to do, or I want to go over a little bit of transfer. So transfer requirements. So you would need to get 60 transferable units or a 2.0 GPA, 3.0 recommended. Complete your golden. So that's going to be your oral communication, written communication, critical thinking, and your mathematics. A little bit of recommendations for if you're going to get your associate's degree first and then come in to get your bachelor's at a university, at our university, or just any university in general. I would go on that transfer pathway. So it's associate's degree for transfer, and that's kind of the agreement with you're almost committing, you are committing with to transferring to a certain community, certain university. So you would have that. With CSUMB, you're able to get in that agreement and do your associate's degree for transfer. Taking classes during the summer is something else I wanted to point out too. So I know we want to relax and have fun during the summer, and that's okay. But definitely, I would say taking I would say usually during GE courses, you can take. They offer a lot of courses during the summer. You can even take them at a community college as well, just to get ahead of the game and making sure you're on track. I would say meet with an advisor very often as well. You want to make sure you're on track and everything looks good and nothing's slipping up, that you are short of any credits by the time you graduate as well, because there have been students as well that haven't been meeting with their academic advisors and not just really checking on their units. And there is those students that, they slip through the cracks. They really, it puts them back. I want you guys to utilize as many resources as possible, get involved, don't be shy. I want you guys to know that a lot of students on campus feel the same way as you. They're new, it's a new environment. So get involved. We have a lot of resources and event clubs that you can be involved in. Join support programs as well, for like EOPS, and so here I wanted to talk a little bit about pathways to success. So we have our student support programs like College Assistant Migrant Program. We have the EOP, which supports our low income first generation students. We have Guardian Scholars that supports our foster youth. And we have TRIO student support programs as well for and we also have undocumented student support services as well, and our Veteran Resource Center. So definitely, we have a lot of support programs for you guys if you guys want to check them out as well. they are they're a little like EOP is something that's like pretty competitive. So definitely get your applications in as soon as you can. Yeah. So additional resources for our campus, do we have the Center for Academic Career and Student Success? That's also where you can meet with your academic advisor and ask questions. We also have a lot of walk-in hours as well. So you can, just meet with an advisor and you don't need an appointment. You could just walk in. We have our Cooperative Learning Center, which was awesome when I was at CSUMB as an undergrad. That is our tutoring center. You're able to meet with the CLC staff, which are students as well. So that's actually one of the campus jobs you can get, and you can get tutoring there in that specific subject. We have the Otter Cross Cultural Center and the OC3. And we also we have the Helen Rucker Center for Black Excellence and El Centro, which has just opened literally last week, we had our grand opening for El Centro. We have our Personal Growth and Counseling Center, Student Disability Center, our Transfer Student Success Center, and our Undergraduate Research Opportunity Center, which is UROC. So what are my housing options, right? Where are you gonna live? So we have 4 different options on campus. We have our residence halls, we have our North Quad apartments, Promontory apartments, and East Campus apartments. So your residence halls are for only first-year students, and you're required to live in the residence halls. And I know that it's waived for students that are local or in the Tri-County areas. So that's Santa Cruz, San Benito, and Monterey County. So if you're considered local, then you don't have to live on campus, but there's a lot of benefits from living on campus. Something unique I wanted to point out about our residence halls, you have not got a chance to tour. Every single one of our dorm rooms has their own bathroom. Again, going back to the history of CSUMB, we are on the old Fort Ord military base. So all your the freshman dorms are converted old military barracks, and that is why you have your own bathroom in your room, which is really awesome. It was very awesome not to share a bathroom with the whole residence floor. We have our North Quad apartments. That's one for our second years. They're more of smaller suites, and you're going to be sharing an apartment with other students. Promontory apartments, these are for students with 60 units or more or in your second year. These are probably the more pricier campus housings that we have. They're super beautiful. You have your full size kitchen, and yeah, there's double singles in there. So just depending on what your preferences, but these are very beautiful, still very walking distance from our main campus. East Campus is going to be our 2 miles. It's located 2 miles away from campus, but they're full-size apartments. There's 2 rooms, one's a single, one's a double, and these are only for students 21 years or older or have 90 units. And we also offer family housing. We also house our graduate students as well. And yeah, these are the most affordable housing option, the most affordable housing option on campus. And typically, it's until you are seniors when a lot of students are eligible, or a lot of our transfers also qualify for East Campus. So how much does CSUMB cost? So here's a little bit of cost of attendance. So tuition is roughly around $7,200 or $300, let's round up. Housing and food or meal plan is going to be the more pricier side of it, and then we're just kind of factoring in our transportation, the gas or anything of getting to campus, and books and supplies, and just anything personal as well. Definitely wanted to again reiterate that 73% of our students do receive some sort of financial aid. So definitely I say apply for financial aid, even if you don't think you're gonna get anything. Then the FAFSA applications are free, so definitely submit a FAFSA application. So here's a little bit of facts about FAFSA. So the 2021-2022 financial aid and scholarships awarded were 67 million. Scholarships administered by CSU altogether was 4.2 million. And again, okay, this percentage changed a little bit, but 72% of students received aid in that year. 53% of our undergraduate, wait, no, sorry. 53% of our students left our university with no educational loan debt in 2021, which was amazing. So why should I choose CSUMB? So I wanted to point out just top facts about our university, pointing out that we have 24,707 alumni. We have a 7,000, and we're still growing, student enrollment on our campus. We have 51% first generation college students. Again, that's smaller class ratio to faculty ratio. We have 26 majors across 6 different colleges and 40 minors. We were ranked number 9 in top public schools. We are in the top 20 for sending students to study abroad, and number 4 for top performers on social mobility, according to the U.S. News and World Report. And we were number 9 in the most affordable CSUs. Again, I wanted to highlight research opportunities through that UARC program. We have unique programs, right? We like our marine science major itself. We have the #1 scuba diving program in the U.S. We have the smaller class sizes again. We have residential campus. We're residential campus, and we have great residential life, and our beautiful ocean views are something else I wanted to highlight. So how can I apply to CSUMB? Applying to CSUMB, you go through the Cal State Apply application. So it's one application for all CSUs. We don't have one specific application. It's just one application for any CSUs you want to apply to. So the fall application deadline is from October 1st to December 16th. CSUMB did extend their application submission, so it's all the way till December 16th. So you have about 2.5 months at this point. So definitely, I wouldn't wait to get everything in. Get it in as soon as possible. I want to point out that eligible applicants receive up to 4 free CSU applications, and those fees for each application is about $70. On the CSU application itself, it's going to ask you if you want to submit the form to waive the application fees. I would say go ahead and submit the form and see if you're eligible to waive the application fees, and that makes a big difference. I know I was definitely grateful for that when I was applying. Something important for our first-time freshmen. So making sure when you are applying, making sure that your high school name matches up, local, and your high school, the code as well. And you can check in with your advisors as well with that. But just when you're applying, just make sure everything is right and correct and accurate. Okay? So I wanted to invite you guys. The presentation is coming to a close. So I wanted to invite you guys to our open house. We have an open house every single year for prospective students. So this year it's Saturday, October 21st. So next month, in the middle of when applications are open, it's from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. we're going to have presentations for majors in each department. We're going to have faculty representing that represent each department out there for each major, so you guys to talk and ask any questions. We have campus tours going all day long, and again, I know a lot of people have been looking for campus tours, but this is the soonest you're going to be able to get a campus tour. So definitely come by for a little bit, join us for our open house. You're going to be able to meet with current students, staff, faculty. I myself will also be there. Admissions is hosting it. So check us out on our website and you can register as well. It's free. Bring the whole family. Would love to see you guys all there. So here is a QR code if you want to request more information. You guys can follow us on our social media and or contact us or email us if you guys have any questions. Andy, how am I on time right now? Sorry.
Great, fantastic. Thank you, Azucena, and thank you, Claudine. So at this point, we're going to open it up for questions. I know that several of you out there have submitted questions in the chat. We've answered some of those, most of those. There was a question, the last question, can we get a copy of tonight's PowerPoints? So the PowerPoint presentations that our presenters provided, that information belongs to UC Santa Cruz and to Monterey Bay. However, if they give us permission to post those presentations on our website, I would be happy to do that. Keep in mind that this presentation is being recorded and the entire presentation will be available on our website. I don't know if you guys want to speak to that in terms of sharing the PowerPoint presentations, perhaps like on our website.
Yeah, I'm okay with you sharing it.
Okay. Okay, thanks.
I could probably share it too. I'm sure I can share it.
Okay, and if we don't do that, we have those presentations in the recording. So thank you very much. There was a question way back about two questions about athletics, and I'll just let you guys, each answer for your respective campuses. How does a student get involved in Division I, Division II, or Division III sports? And then are there athletic scholarships available, and how does that work?
Yeah, so UC Santa Cruz is Division III, so we don't provide scholarships for sports. If you want more information in terms of the sports that we have, you check out goslugs.org. And if you're interested in joining these teams, you can reach out to the coaches as well.
Definitely we are in the NCAA Division II. We have we actually award about 300,000 in athletic scholarships. But I definitely too, if you want to catch a coach's eye or anything, I definitely say that you should email them. And you can definitely find that information on our website. They want to see someone that, is out there and really wants to do this. Or they're also going to be at our open house on October 21st as well. If you want to ask any questions, get to know them, meet them, and see, how they preferably would like to meet you or anything, or come to practices, anything like that. So definitely would say email them, or even look on our website as well.
And one more point, if you have a senior who wants to play D1, D2, D3 sports, they must register with the NCAA clearinghouse. That's the National Collegiate Athletic Association. And if you Google NCAA clearinghouse, it'll take you to the website. But in order to even step on the field, they have to be registered before they go to college. So I'll put that, I'll try to get the link in there, but I just posted NCAA clearinghouse. And so that's a really important step. They actually ask our students to do that by the end of their junior year, but they can still do it as seniors. Okay. I'd like to just open it up to questions. So if you all want to unmute yourself and ask a question, or perhaps if your question did not get answered in the chat, or if you have an additional question, now's a good time.
You find any work? Where?
Any questions out there? This is a great time to ask any burning question that you have. It's not very often that you have two representatives from, one from the UC, one from the CSU admissions counselors to be able to sit and answer your questions. Okay, so
Hello? Oh,
yes, go ahead, Mariana.
hi. Yeah, Mariana here. So a quick question, this would apply for either one. Generally, when it comes to the extracurricular activities, are they looking for some of those activities to be aligned with the major that they are applying to the UC or CSU with? And I ask this because, like, with my son, he didn't really decide on the path he wanted to go to till like end of junior year. And so now, his activities don't really align with that, and trying to get that added now is more difficult.
Not necessarily. So the activities don't have to align with their, major of choice or interests. I think for us, it's more so we like to see if there's a sustained activity, like maybe they've done taekwondo since the age of 8 or something like that. Maybe they were captain of a team for 3 years, but it doesn't have to necessarily align with their interests or major.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, just to piggyback off that, it doesn't have to align with their major. I would just say again, it would have to be something um that they have been doing for a little bit. I would say you can see too when you submit things or talk about things, like a lot of students are thinking of things their senior year, so joining a club the last semester of your senior year. I would say joining clubs and just building that experience in that club is something that we're looking for too. That you've been committed, that you were an active member, everything like that, or of that sport, of that club, anything like that.
Okay, great, thank you.
We had a question about admission tests or placement tests, and I'm assuming that we're referring to SAT or ACT, and also something about, do you all use a wait list? So are there admission placement tests, and do you use wait lists?
I was referring to like the nursing program. The nursing program have any like admission, like pre-admission tests? Because I know like Sacramento has it. So I don't know if like CSUMB has it. Because it's for the nursing program specifically, yeah.
At CSUB, there is not a wait list. None of our programs are impacted, neither is our nursing program. I would say apply. A lot of people get jumbled up, I think, because of the requirements to come into the BSN program. But as of now, no, there's not a wait list. I think it's just meeting the requirements for your associate's degree for nursing and transferring that way. Obviously, you got the associate's degree because you completed all of your required courses for that, or getting your registered nursing license as well.
Thank you.
Claudine, did you want to add anything?
Yeah, so UC Santa Cruz does not have a nursing major, but UCLA and UC Irvine do. And I believe UCLA direct admits their nursing majors. So you may just want to contact those campuses directly for more information, because I'm not sure about the waiting list part.
And if I can just add, nursing programs, whether it be UC, CSU, or community college, they're very competitive. And so what students typically have to do is they have to take certain prerequisite courses, and they have to earn certain grades in those courses. So it's usually like anatomy and physiology and physics and chemistry and things like that. And then you apply once you've completed those prerequisite courses, whether it be at community college or your first couple years at university, then you apply to the nursing programs. And then they make a decision based on the number of seats they have and based on how competitive the applicant pool is. But you can start your education to be a nurse at the community college level as well as at the university level. There's a question here, does CSU Monterey Bay accept Ds? That's a really good question.
Yeah, in one of our recommendation slides, I would definitely try to remake those Ds, just because it is, when we're looking at applications, those are the ones that we're going to look at a lot more criteria. So definitely Cs are better. I would highly recommend for getting in.
And for the UC system, Claudine?
Yeah, it's the same for UCs. We do not accept Ds. You really want to have at least a C or better in those in the A through G courses.
Yeah, now if you have a D in PE or you have a D in a non-A through G course, I wouldn't necessarily recommend that a student retake those. I think the focus should be on retaking courses that are A to G and meeting the minimum. And as these ladies have said, going beyond the minimum by taking more than what's required to be more competitive.
Yeah, I think a D in PE is, that's fine. A through G, usually if you have a course that doesn't fit into any of the A to F, it usually will fit maybe under the G. It's really rare, I think, that none of the courses would fit under G. So G would be any of the extra courses that you take. So there are students who can currently take college courses and they think that it's not part of the A through G. It absolutely is. If it doesn't fit under the category of G, it would be under one of the other subjects. So yes, I advise that you pass those courses as well, even if you're just taking them for fun.
Okay, we have a question about, it says, can we also touch on the application essays? Of course, the CSU system doesn't really use essays. Sometimes they have supplemental questions like the Cal Poly application. The UC system uses the personal insight questions. Claudine, did you want to say anything more about those?
Yeah, so don't treat it as an essay. I would say treat them as short answer. Treat it as an interview. So there are 8 questions. You only have to answer 4, and they all have the same weight. So quite often I'm asked, which 4 questions do I answer? Well, which one do you relate to? Answer those 4 that you relate to. And then sometimes I will see this on applications too. A student will write a full essay and then try to fit it in 4 questions. It doesn't really work, and half the time it doesn't answer the question. So I would avoid doing that. More tips. I would tell a different story in each of the PIQ. Don't repeat the same story, and try to fit it within a different question every time. And last thing is probably you want to type out your answer on the Word document, because that will tell you how many words you have for that question. Because if you're just typing it directly on the UC application itself, it doesn't have a word tracker there. So and I can usually tell when a student hasn't used Word, because they type out their response and it doesn't end, like there's a missing sentence or 2. So I highly recommend using Word doc to type out your response to the PIQ and then copying it, pasting it into the application itself.
So in the chat, I put a link to the UC personal insight questions, part of the UC website. And they have some great advice for what to do, what not to do. And there's also a really nice video that explains how you should approach the PIQs. And one of the things they say is it's not a creative writing task. They want you to answer the questions as if you were being interviewed. That's a really good way to look at it.
Yeah, we're not looking for your grammar, your misspelling. We're looking at the content. So when you're answering those, you want to think about also how, what, why, What skills have you learned from being a soccer team captain? How is that going to help you beyond the classroom? How do you think that's going to add to our campus community?
So there was a question that says, when the students replace their grades, say a D replaced with an A with a summer school class, does that make them less competitive than if they had earned the A during the regular class the first time? So does repeating a course and getting a better grade make you less competitive than getting a good grade the first time?
No. Yeah. But I also want to say, when you're listing all of your courses and grades on the application, make sure that you're also listing any failed courses. It's good for us to see that progression, because if you leave it out, it kind of looks like on our end that you're hiding something, and you never want to have us think that, because down the road, I don't want to scare anyone, but if it becomes a falsification issue, you can never apply to any of the UC campuses. So you want to make sure that you list every single course you've taken, high school and college.
Okay, so there's a question for you, Azucena. Does CSU Monterey Bay have engineering as a major?
The new mechatronics engineering major, that one is going to be ready for the time that the fall 2024. So that one's looking into our ag tech, just like the future of agriculture, and creating this machinery, this just putting together this machinery of like how we're able to productively, wash, our vegetables, everything like that. We acknowledge that our Salinas Valley is very big on our vegetables, so it would be it would be our mechatronics engineering program.
Okay. And then there was a question about, do UC and CSU schools look at weighted or non-weighted GPAs?
Weighted.
And with the UC system, they only give credit for 8 grade bumps, correct?
I'm sorry, repeat the question.
With the UC system, with the grade bumps, UC only gives credit for 8 grade bumps. Up to 8.
I'm not sure. I'll have to check on that. I don't know who asked that question. So if you can email me that question, claudine@ucsc.edu, I'll have to check.
Okay. And Azucena, what about CSU Monterey Bay with the weighted versus
It's weighted. Yeah, it's weighted through for your 10th grade through 12th grade.
Right.
GPA.
Yeah, and keep in mind, folks, that since seniors don't have any permanent senior grades until January, you won't have any 12th grade grades integrated into that GPA, if that makes sense, because November 30th is the deadline for both the CSU and UC applications. So it's really based on the 10th and 11th grade A to G courses and what you do in summer school after 9th and all the way up through before senior year. It's the way we look at it. Let's see here. Somebody asked, what is weighted GPA? So weighted GPA, for example, at our school, if you take an AP course and you get a C, it's actually worth a B on the transcript, so it gets an extra grade point. And so some universities out there, they don't count any grade bumps or extra grade points, and so they only use the non-weighted GPA. Whereas both UC and CSU campuses, they do use the weighted GPA. You guys want to add anything to that? And somebody asked if this recording will be sent to your emails and to your texts. No, this recording will be available on the counseling tab of our website. So you will need to go there to view it. It should be there within a week. And if you have any questions about how to find it or where to find it, just reach out to us and we'll be happy to tell you how to get there. Anybody else want to unmute themselves and ask a question, particularly if I missed something in the chat?
Can you hear me? I have a question.
Yes.
Hi. So my question is, okay, I get the financial aid deadlines, but what about deadlines for scholarships? And like, you know, is there specific like scholarships, and or can I go like, I know there's like community scholarships, but like my daughter's applying, let's just say for example, you know, UC Santa Cruz. Do they, on top of the community scholarships, is there also like a website that she would apply, look at scholarships at the CSU? Or does that come after she applies and gets accepted for scholarships? You know, or like I said, in the community, obviously I want to look into that as a first-time generation. Like, you know, I'm really want to get clear answers as to, you know, when should I start? Should I start now? Where do I go? How long does it take? Who's going to tell me if they were accepted? So can someone answer these questions?
Yeah, so in general, the first thing you want to do is make sure that you submit that FAFSA or the California Dream Act application on time. So that's due March 2nd. And then in terms of the specific scholarships, I mean, those would differ. I mean, it depends on the scholarship, right? But I would say a resource for you, if you just Google our financial aid department at UC Santa Cruz. I believe they have a database of outside scholarships as well that you can, just check out and see if you want to apply to. But generally, the first thing you want to do is make sure that you submit that FAFSA or California Dream Act application before March 2nd.
Yes, and same for CSUMB. We have our general scholarship application that usually is going to be open again October 23rd. And so it's one application and you can apply for all the scholarships in that in the scholarship search engine. So we have our own search engine with all these applications that you can apply to as well.
The way that
And
go ahead, Lorena, go ahead.
I'm one of the counselors, Karina, and I wanted to add that we have a fabulous college and career center on campus at the high school with Miss Andrade, who's here tonight, who really handles all of our local scholarships and helps students research online, as well as the counselors. We're in the career center starting in October, but Miss Andrade is a fabulous resource right there on our campus.
Yeah, and the way that I conceptualize scholarships, there are local scholarships that are, there's Mrs. Andrade. I'll let her speak because she's the expert.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for inquiring about scholarships. Our community, as Mr. Prisco and Ms. Lorena had stated at the very beginning, is just amazing. In fact, he was accurate to state that our community awarded over $350,000 last year just to our seniors here at San Benito High School, Hollister High School, excuse me. So make sure, rather than just applying to our local scholarships, which will be sent to you, will be sent to all the students after January. I have kids always coming up to me and saying, I never knew there were scholarships. Students need to look at their email, go onto the website, look at their Google Classroom, attend my Hey Baylor support times, and those will all be due in mid-March. And as each one of our representatives from the colleges said today, there are so many college scholarships directly with the school in which you're applying to. And there's always the national scholarships. There's FastWeb. All you have to do is Google scholarships. There are scholarships out there for everything. I've heard of scholarships out there for somebody who's left-handed, somebody who plays a certain sport. Those are national. So you want to remember, though, you are competing with the whole United States. Whereas with our local scholarships, you're just competing with our seniors here. I'd just like to reiterate that we have over 100 scholarships. All of them have a different criteria. So what your students will be receiving is a list of all the scholarships with the criteria, and then they can pick the ones that they qualify for and apply to.
So you'll be email them information about the scholarships around January. Did I hear that? Around
That is-
January?
Yes, as
But
soon as
can we go there sooner to your office and get hands-on training, I guess?
Unfortunately, I don't have the list of scholarships prior to that. They're not released until then, because if you can imagine, we have 100 organizations that have to be contacted each year. So that's what I'm doing in the process of now until then. So you will be able to come reach out to me after January. The students will receive the list of scholarships.
And
To
that's for
clarify,
the,
I'm sorry, just to clarify, does that also apply to local scholarships? Like you have no access to know which ones are available, then also including local scholarships?
I'm sorry. Yes, this is just for the local scholarships that are released in January. There's lots of national scholarships that are actually out there right now.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
yes, and I would recommend that our seniors, you know, when they finish applying to the universities, or even when they're in the process, to go onto the university websites, and as Claudine said, and look at the scholarships that are being offered by that particular campus, because there are a lot of them, and they may, you know, the deadlines may vary, the requirements may vary, but almost all of them require that you submit a FAFSA, which is the free application for federal student aid. Yeah.
I have a follow-up question to that. For the CSU or UC specific scholarships, if you've applied to a college, do you submit those applications to the scholarships after you found out you've been accepted, or do you fill those out prior to?
If I remember, when you're filling out the FAFSA, it does ask you which campuses or which universities or colleges you want to, submit that FAFSA information to. So you can do that there. And then, sometimes it comes up where you maybe left off a school, or you were admitted to a school that you didn't think that you were going to go to later on. I always recommend contacting either the admissions office or the financial aid office of that school, and then letting them know, like, I didn't add your school on the FAFSA application, and then they would, just give you instructions on how to send that over.
Yeah, you can list up to 10 colleges initially when you submit the FAFSA, and it's really important that students remember to do that, because if you don't put any colleges on your FAFSA, it doesn't go anywhere. But then if you want to add more, or if you've forgotten to add a college, then you can go back to the FAFSA homepage, sign in, and you can add more. Other questions? Well, you guys have been a great audience, and really appreciate you taking the time to tune in. And I really want to give a big thank you to Claudine and Azucena for being here and taking the time to do this for our students. And yeah, thank you all so much for being here. It really helps our students, and I think it gets our students interested and excited about the process. And I think it helps our parents as well. Looks like we have one new message. Okay, this was very helpful. Thank you. Yes. Okay, so if anybody has any, this is your last chance to ask a question. So unmute yourself. Otherwise, have a wonderful evening, and thank you for being with us tonight.